Hello everyone, I Jhalak Patel, Assistant Professor at LG Institute of Engineering and Technology in the Department of Electronics and Communication, welcoming you to my channel in the session of Wireless Communication. Today I am going to discuss about Unit 3 with topic Indoor and Outdoor Propagation Model. So let's start with Indoor Propagation Model. Indoor propagation model are mainly used in mobile to mobile communication. Basically, it is affected by the various mechanism like reflection, diffraction, and scattering. Here, indoor propagation models are divided into many categories. Among them, firstly, I consider partition loss for indoor models with same floor. So, in this type, the propagation inside building, which depends on the layout of building, construction material and type of building. Also, the material used in the building is also very important because it is further divided into many categories like the path loss exponent and its variance, etc. So, it is affected by reflection, diffraction and scattering. Diffraction is occur when the surface is obstructed by sharp edges. Here, two paths are possible with partition loss in the same floor. Two paths are considered because here the first path is due to line of sight and second is due to multi-path effect. So, here in indoor model, partition are divided into two types. First one is hard partition. Hard partition is a partition where reconfiguration of that partition is not possible, like walls of building, while the second one is soft partition. In soft partition, reconfiguration is possible because you can easily manage it from one place to another place, like the moving parts or moving partition of a building. You also consider the curtains or some layout in the fact of the movable part. So now the next case is different partition losses with different material type, loss and frequency is considered. Here you can see that the metal has the highest loss, which is 26 dB compared to all other material type. You can also compare it with the concrete or with cardboard boxes or with dry plywood. So over here you can see that for the same material type like dry plywood type, if the frequency changes, then also loss will change. Like for higher frequency, higher loss will be occur. Like for 9.6 gigahertz frequency, it is 1 dB, and for 28.8 gigahertz, it is 4 dB. So it depends on material type as well as for frequency. The second type of indoor propagation model is partition loss between floors. Here this model is basically considered when we talk about the vertical section, like between floor means the loss between first floor to second floor or the loss between second floor to third floor is considered in this model. So what are the factors that affecting this type of indoor propagation model? So external dimension and material used between floor, or external dimension means which size of rooms are there or which size of partition are there. So external dimension and material is affected. Types of construction means which type of material is used, which construction is going to placed over there. External surrounding, also the surrounding is also affected because surrounding affect the noise of that particular model. So the third factor is external surrounding. Number of as the number of windows increases, then the noise increases, so it is also going to be considered for partition loss. And then last but not least, floor attenuation factor, FAF. It depends on the number of floors. As the number of floors increases, FAF, floor attenuation factor, also increases. As the number of floors increases, obviously the partition loss increases. Here consider this table. In this table the different type of building with different number of floors are considered with different floor attenuation factor. Here you can see that in case of Walnut Creek type of building, between for one floor the attenuation is 33.6 and with two floor it is 44, while in case of SF type building, one floor, two floor, three floor is considered. So over here you can see that for one first floor FAF is less compared to second floor and third floor. So as the number of floor increases, then the total FAF increases, and it also affect on the deviation, which is sigma, and frequency is also affected. Over here you can see that 31 megahertz and here 38 dB will be considered, with here the same frequency is considered 1900 megahertz. So basically it depends also on the number of floors and the type of building. Next is Ericsson multiple breakpoint model. In this case the graph is considered for dB versus meter, means here meter is nothing but the distance between transmitter to receiver and dB is attenuation of that model. Now from the graph you can see that as the attenuation increases, the distances also increases. So we can easily say that if we increase the distance between transmitter to receiver, then attenuation is going to increase, because as the distance increases there are more number of obstruction may occur in between the transmitter to receiver, so it affects the attenuation. This is Ericsson in building for path loss model. Next is indoor model for AFM. AFM means attenuation factor model. So it is also obtained by measurement in multiple floor building, because in case of multiple floor building only the attenuation factor is going to consider. Here the equation for path loss in dB is path loss at d0 plus 10 and SF log d by d0 plus FAF in dB. Here path loss at d means path loss at distance between transmitter to receiver is equal to path loss at d0 means path loss at some reference distance 10 and SF. Here NSF means path loss exponent, SF means for single floor. D log of d by d0, again logarithm of the ratio distance between transmitter to receiver, and the reference distance is taken. FAF means floor attenuation factor. Again, as we discussed in the last slide, that FAF depends on the number of floors, so you can calculate it from there and put the value over here. So this is how you can calculate the path loss for AFM. This graph is the scatter plot of path loss as a function of distance in one office building. Over here you can see that the number of path loss exponent is varying, like n equal to 1, n equal to 3, n equal to 3 and n equal to 6. So you can conclude that for n equal to 6 the path loss is more compared to the other value. Also the different factors are considered over here are which floor, like same floor building, then first floor building, then second floor building, and also over here frequency, path loss exponent and deviation is fixed, like this whole distribution plot is for frequency 914 megahertz. Next is outdoor propagation model. Outdoor propagation models are mainly considered for irregular terrain profile, means it is not going to consider for inside building, but it is considered where the profile is irregular, like mountains or valleys or some other where the obstructions are more compared to the inside building construction. So terrain profile is used to estimate the path loss. For outdoor propagation model, they are mainly characterized into three types of model. First one is Longley-Rice model, Okumura model and Hata model. One by one we take all the model into consideration. First we consider Longley-Rice model. This model is basically used for point-to-point communication. It operates in between frequency 40 MHz to 300 GHz. Also it is used to calculate the signal strength because it calculates the path loss, and if we know about the path loss then we simply subtract it from received power, then it gives us the signal strength. So this is how it used to calculate the signal strength. It again operates in two modes, point-to-point mode prediction and area mode prediction. So point-to-point mode prediction, it is used when the complete terrain profile is available to user. Means user have all, if user has all the information like which type of antennas are going to use, what is the distance between transmitter and receiver, or maybe what type of transmitter is used or what type of receiver is used. If all this type of information is available to user, then point-to-point mode prediction is used. While in case of second mode, area mode prediction, this type of area mode prediction is generally used when complete terrain profile is not available to user. Means user will not have the information of the antennas, then the transmitter and receiver, or which type of communication is occur in between them. Then it operates on the area mode prediction. It is not generally used. The reason is because Longley-Rice model has not applied to the when the surrounding clutter is going to be considered, or the other point is discussed in the Okumura model. So let's start with Okumura model. Signal prediction in urban area. This is the limitation of Longley-Rice model, which is solved in Okumura model, because with Okumura model it is possible to predict the signal in urban area. Means in congested area we can also predict the signal. It is a graphical method to predict the signal attenuation. Determine the free space path loss link and the path loss between transmitter to receiver. Now how the path loss will be calculated, it is given by this equation. Path loss at 50 means attenuation at 50 dB is taken, is equal to LF. LF means loss at free space. AMU is attenuation with frequency and distance as a factor. G of HTE means gain of transmitting antenna. G of HRE gain of receiving antenna with height as a parameter, and G area means gain of environment. So AMU and G area have been plotted for wide range of frequency. Means for both this parameter you have to consider the frequency of transmitter or receiving antenna. Next is how the different gain is calculated. As we discussed in the previous slide, that it depends on the gain of our transmitting antenna and gain of receiving antenna. So how it is going to calculate? So G of HTE means gain of transmitting antenna as a function of height is equal to 20 log of HTE upon 200. HTE means height of transmitting antenna. It is in between 10 meter to 1000 meter. G of HRE means gain of receiving antenna is equal to 10 log of HRE upon 3, where HRE is height of receiving antenna. Its range should be less than or equal to 3 meter. The other option is GHRE is equal to 20 log of HRE upon 3, where HRE should be in between 3 to 10 meter. Here one graph is shown for the correlation factor of environmental gain G area versus frequency for different environments. So you can see that for suburban area the gain is reduced to 5, while the quasi open area it is comparatively higher, and for open area it is more compared to both quasi open and suburban. So as the traffic increases, the gain will be reduces, and it also affect on the G area. G area is also reduces. If you have any questions or queries, you can ask me at my email ID. Thank you for watching.